Hello everyone. In the Postman API testing series, today, we will discuss response codes in data-driven testing. If you haven't watched the last 3 videos in this playlist, I recommend doing so before continuing with session 4. Your support is crucial, so if you find the video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to watch the video till the end for a comprehensive understanding. Let's kick off today's session. Now, I will open the Postman tool. In the last video, we created a collection named My Collection 1 and added requests like get, post, put, and delete inside it. Today, for data-driven testing, we will create a new collection. To do this, we can use the plus icon and create a collection, or we can explore alternative methods. In Postman, there are multiple ways to perform tasks. Let me click on the plus icon to create a new collection. Here you can see our new collection created after click. I named the new collection as Data-Driven Testing. So now, what will be there in data-driven testing? I hope you guys remember from the last video, we created a post request to add data to the server using this URL. Why do we use a post request? It's to send a request for creating information on the server. During the creation of the post request, what did we do? For example, in the request body, we provided the name as Jayaprakash and the job as QA. What happened here? We hard-coded the data. In data-driven testing, our approach is different. We won't hard-code any data. Instead, we will retrieve the data from an external resource. This external resource can be a file, possibly in CSV format, or it might be a JSON file. Let's explore how we create that file. Our main intention now is to retrieve data from an external file without hard-coding any information. This file will contain multiple sets of data. We will see how to create that file. It is very simple. I will open an Excel sheet for that. Firstly, we will check what we need. We need name and job. Now, we will do data-driven testing for this data. In the Excel sheet, I will take the first column for the name and the second column for the job. For the first record, I'll take the name as George and the job as a project manager. For the second record, I'll take the name as Morris and the job as lead. I'll take one more name, Butler, with the job as QA. So, I have 3 records here. If you want, you can add one more record. I will add a name as Smith and the job as HR. So, what do we have to do now? We have to save this in CSV format. While saving, I will choose File, then Save As, and select the format as CSV. One important thing to know is that CSV stands for comma-separated values. Now, we can close that CSV file and open it in Notepad. Here, we can see the format. The header has name and job, and below that are all the records. Now, the next step is to create one request inside the data-driven testing collection. We will use the same post request, the same URL, and the same request body as we did in the last session. Now, we will make some changes to the request body to implement data-driven testing. We need to use double curly braces, open and close. Inside that, we have to give the first heading as name, and for job also, we have to do the same as we did for name. So, what will happen here? The name and job will be retrieved from Notepad. I will explain how this mapping happens later in the session. One more important thing is we have to keep open curly braces and close curly braces inside double quotes. The parameters here will be name and job, and the parameter values will be obtained from the Notepad file. After preparing the request body, we will validate the response code. To do that, we have to click on the Tests tab, and there we need to write a validation script. Inside this script, we have to create a function. Use pm.test, open bracket and close, and everything we want to write should be inside these brackets. Firstly, we will give a description like check status code inside double quotes. After that, give a comma, and in the function, we have to check if the status code is 201 or not. For that validation, we have to write the function as shown in screen. So, we are done with this simple code. The validation check is done 4 times because we have 4 records in Notepad. Let's check that now. Now click the three dots beside the collection and choose Run Collection. The Runner tab will open. Now, choose how to run your collection. I will select Manually. If you want to schedule it, you can do that as well. In the Run configuration, it asks for the iteration, which is essentially how many times you want to run the collection or the number of rows. If you want to run all the data in your test data file, set it to 4. If you only want to run the first 2 rows, set the iteration number to 2. The delay is the time between 2 HTTP requests. In real-time scenarios with a large test dataset, keeping a delay is essential. Set the delay to 3 milliseconds. Now, choose the data file by clicking Select File. Choose the location where you saved the CSV file and click Done. After selecting the file, the data file type will automatically be selected as CSV. There are other file options, but since we are using a CSV file, it is automatically selected. Next, there's a preview option that you must check. Click Preview, and it will show the CSV file preview. Ensure that all 4 data entries are displayed. Checking the preview is crucial. Any errors in the file will prevent this preview. Now, run the collection by clicking the Run Data-Driven Testing button. The button name will be the same as what we gave to the collection. Once you click this button, the execution will start. After execution, check the results. You will see 4 iterations, with each iteration sending a post request to a specific URL. To get more information, click on the post request to see details such as the request URL, request header, request body, and response body. Now, compare the request body in Notepad. We can see our first record in the Notepad file, and both are the same. Let's check the second iteration. In this iteration, the data should have the name as Morris and the job as lead. We can check the same for iterations 3 and 4. This is how we can achieve data-driven testing. Now, let's see how to achieve data-driven testing using a JSON file. We can use the CSV file and convert it into a JSON file. Many converters are available online. I will open the browser and search for a CSV to JSON converter online. Click on the first link, choose the file, or copy-paste the CSV data. After clicking Convert, we will get JSON data, and we can download that file. While it's manageable for 4 records, manual conversion becomes impractical for larger datasets. Now, let's execute this collection again with the JSON file. Click on the 3 dots, Run Collection. Here, the iteration will be 4, and the delay is 3 milliseconds. Select the JSON data as the data file, and the data type is automatically selected as JSON. Check the preview. Now we can see the preview. After all this, run using the button. We got results here, similar to what we got for the CSV file. Everywhere, we are getting a response code of 2, not 1. Now, let's introduce a negative scenario intentionally. I will go to Tests and change the expected code to 200. Save this, and now we will run this collection again using the Run Again button. We can see that it has failed. In the results, we see expected 201, but we got 200. All iterations failed. This demonstrates how we can perform data-driven testing using CSV and JSON files. Now, I will go to Tests and correct my code. I will revert it back to 201 and save it. Now, I will run this again using the Run Again button. All tests have passed. I hope you understand how to perform data-driven testing using CSV and JSON files. Now, let's delve into some important HTTP response codes that API testers should be familiar with. Most of the time, responses fall into the 200 series, 400 series, or 500 series, and we'll discuss each one. The 200 series indicates a successful HTTP request, with codes like 200 for OK, or 201 for created. The 400 series denotes client-side errors, such as 400 for bad request, or 404 for not found. The 500 series indicates server-side errors, including 500 for internal server error. or 503 for service unavailable. Now, let's explore each individual response code in detail. Firstly, we have 200. An HTTP status code representing a successful request commonly used for OK responses. The 201 status code indicates the successful creation of a resource. Next, 400 represents a bad request, indicating that the request from the client is malformed or invalid. The 401 status code suggests that the client needs to authenticate to get the requested response. 403 signifies forbidden, indicating that the client does not have permission to access the requested resource. 404, a not found status code, means the requested resource could not be found on the server. Moving on to the 500 series. 500 indicates an internal server error, a generic message indicating a server problem. The 501 status code communicates that the server does not support the functionality required to fulfill the request. 502, a bad gateway, signifies that the server, while acting as a gateway or proxy, received an invalid response from an upstream server. 503 indicates service unavailable, suggesting that the server is currently unable to handle the request due to temporary overloading or maintenance. Finally, 504, a gateway timeout, means the server, acting as a gateway or proxy, did not receive a timely response from the upstream server or some other auxiliary server. This information is sufficient for now, and we will explore each code in more detail in upcoming videos. Alright, it's time to conclude today's session. We'll meet in the next session with a new topic. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel, sharing the video, and hitting the bell icon. This way, you'll be notified as soon as I upload new content. Thank you, and goodbye.